Yes, yes, welcome. Today I wanted to talk about a film called Hollow Man from the year 2000, starring Kevin Bacon as the star. And then there's you've got your Josh Brolin, you've got Elizabeth, I believe Shue. I'm not sure. But you've got other actors in this. I didn't want to start raking off names because I knew I'd forget the rest of them. Um, yeah, this is directed by Paul Verhoeven. I mentioned in a video that came up previously. Verhoeven directed. He's directed amazing films, but he had that 10 years of your RoboCop, your Total Recall, and then your Starship Troopers. After start because I believe Starship Troopers was 97. Then this is 2000. Um, I don't think he's done many films since or in America since 2000. I'm not sure. But Hollow Man, I mean, I used to watch Hollow Man as a child, way before I knew who Verhoeven was, way before I cared or knew anything about filmmaking or like who they brought on board and why certain people come on board to change the script and to enhance it or to change the whole look of a film, whether it be more horrific, more comedic, whatever, to get a certain attitude across. With Paul Verhoeven at the helm, knowing what I know now as an adult, um, yeah, and then people have ideas of what, because Hollow Man is obviously based on the writing. Is it H.G. Wells of The Invisible Man, the man with like the bandages, the sunglasses. So this is like an adaptation of that, Hollow Man. I love the name for a start. I mean, they did do film about 6 years ago called The Invisible Man. I'm using the original name, which was really good. But I mean, I wouldn't mind having another film called Hollow Man. I know there was a sequel of this, which I haven't seen. Um, yeah, I mean, Hollow Man. There's certain films, I watched this at a very impressionable age. I've watched it, throughout my life. So I really love this film. Really love it. The computer the CGI at the time in 2000. It was incredible. Some of it is a little bit ropey today, but it for the most part it holds up. Especially how audacious it is. And it's not just like an isolated film, even though a lot of it takes place in like let's say a medical facility. I think it's like a team of scientists that are I want to say they're like a group funded by like the American Army, some branch of like the weapons department maybe, because they keep getting like these characters coming from the government who are sort of demanding that this project be finished or scrapped if they're not up for the tests of seeing how they can like enhance warfare for the US. And so Kevin Bacon subjects himself to these tests himself because he tested it on animals, it worked. And he's a bit radical, he's a bit pervy, but I'm not sure if he um, expressed any criminal behavior before what happened. But once he does subject, he becomes the human guinea pig himself. He starts to exhibit a lot of like criminal, ghastly behavior. Whether or not that's whether that he had that in him the whole time, and the invisible serum has sort of brought that all out of him, or whether it's just warped his mind because obviously he's going through it. He spent 10 days underground. They can't turn him back. It's not worked. We get this mad, CGI of him like turning into a skeleton and then seeing all of his like veins and whatnot. And then so, anyway, madness starts to unfold when he sort of he gets out on the streets. I mean, the first thing we see him do as the Invisible Man is quite it's disgusting anyway because he's spying on this woman, his colleague. Anyway, it gets worse and worse from there. Breaks into his neighbor's apartment, starts terrorizing everyone, and basically he doesn't want the projects to be terminated, so that he didn't want the army to find out. So he wants to wipe out his whole team, all the main characters. And once the kills start happening, it's like a slasher film, a really well-made slasher film where the kills are just happening. There's one point where, like, after a couple kills have happened, we're on to like there's a succession of like 3 kills that happen in really quite succession. So I really congratulate like the pacing for that. Like wham bam, with like some great like not necessarily choreography, but like just the way that these the action is set up with like fire extinguishers, like because you have to like reveal where Kevin Bacon's character is because he's invisible. So they're using like night vision goggles, uh, different fitting mist just to water blood, just to it's just like really creative. Yeah, like people say that Verhoeven could have delved into something. They say Verhoeven could have delved into other issues relating to being the Invisible Man. But I think he's justified in what the story he told in like this man delving into his like most sadistic desires as the Invisible Man. I think it's something that is like a possibility. So yeah, Hollow Man, I can't sing its praises enough. Really like it. I think it's like a finished article. It's really rewatchable. Yeah, if you haven't seen the Hollow Man because maybe you weren't around at the time, you were too young, or it just passed you by, I really recommend it. For those of you who did watch it, maybe 10 years ago, 20 years ago, go back to it, see what you think. Some of the CGI is a bit like, oh yeah, I can, it's a bit dated, but then some of it you'd be like, wow, it's a lot better than, a lot more effort went into it than what they're putting into now. Yeah, and yeah, that there's like a use of like loads and loads and loads of blood for a certain scene. And the way it's used to try and find the Invisible Man is really well done, especially at the aftermath of that scene with like footsteps in the blood. That's something I take away from the film that I really like. Kevin Bacon, yeah, he's played like villains in his time. And he does a really good job. The acting, so like yeah, the best part of this film is like what's put on screen. The directing is the best part. A lot of the acting is weak, and the script. I feel like there may have been some ad-libbing going on to improve the the script, the dialogue, because a lot of the dialogue is a bit weak as well. So yeah, that's Hollow Man. Thank you very much.